The end of privacy, government control, and tracking consumes our future. Kohalayim Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone who rule well over the flock. Shalom. Salutations to you, Akim, out here pushing the words of truth and sincerity, and shalom off to all the elect Akim and Akwav, scattered Israelites, as well as Israelite foreigners. I brought this video is edifying over Power Month. And before you, I have a small, short video of Klaus Schwab. He's the WEF founder, World Economic Forum. These are the people who will dictate your lack of privacy in the near future. If you enjoy being able to do things on your own without the whole world knowing about them, then that's a short-lived thing. You see, you won't have that very soon in your future. Once these people get your governors and your leaders of your countries to go ahead and commit to what the new policy of the world is, as it changes into this new world policy and new world government. All right, so slowly and surely it's going to be here. George Bush Sr., his elite name, or his occult name, was Magog. George Bush Sr., he said himself that the New World Order will come to pass, and this was a U.S. president. And many U.S. presidents have spoken about a New World Order. What does this entail? It entails them basically having you aware that they're hoarding, stealing, and keeping and tracking information and your whereabouts. Right now, the elites do that. They just do it behind closed doors. And programs like NSA have been involved and exposed of keeping all your records, whether phone conversations. We all know that they listen in to through your cameras and through your microphones on your cell phones. They track you about in your locations with your GPS on your phones. But they just have to do that quietly. All right, or they have to get some type of red tape procedures or paperwork done in order to expose that information. Very soon, according to this WEF and the new Council of the World, they will have full control over your privacy. You will have no privacy. Everything will be transparent. And that's how they're going to push in and put in this mandate and get you to accept the mandate for the CHIP, which is going to go into your right hand or your foreheads and have all of your documentation, all of your financial information stored on a microchip implanted inside you, which is a part of this beast system. So as we listen to this video, think about how the beast system is going to enter, and this is the beginning of it. All right, let me press play.
Dans ce nouveau monde, on doit accepter une transparence, et je dirais même une transparence totale. Tout va être transparent. Et il faut s'habituer, il faut se comporter ainsi. Ça devient, comment dirais-je, intégré dans votre personnalité, mais si on n'a rien à cacher, il ne faut pas avoir peur.
So he's saying you shouldn't have nothing to hide. All right, the time is coming for full transparency. If you have nothing to hide, you shouldn't be afraid. You should get used to it. All right. The book of Jeremiah 30, verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So the time is going to get that bad and severe that we will need that salvation that Yahweh the Father promised through his son Yahweh Shai. In this day, these times that we're coming in are so evil that it can't be described. It can't be correlated or referenced in any other time in the scriptures. And there was some harsh judgment throughout the scriptures, but this time we're in now is going to be the harshest. But the Lord still will have his elect be saved out of it. Revelations 3 verse 10 says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation. And we always go into the time in which we'll be tempted. Above all is to take that mark which is going to be an implantable device, which is going to make you completely transparent to the elites. They'll be able to see where you are, how much you're spending, and even tell you with this new technology how much you can spend and when you can spend it. And if you fight the system at any cost, as Aaron Russo described, you will be your C hit will be turned off, and you're basically off the grid now. Can't buy or sell. All right. So the hour of temptation is a time in which Jacob's trouble is going to be the apex or the climax of Jacob's trouble, in which everybody will be tempted to receive of this mark in order to go along with society and the ease and access that the new world order is going to bring. It says, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. So everybody's going to get tried, right? Scriptures talk about both small and great, rich and poor. I'll get into that in a minute. All right, but the hour of temptation is what we're dealing with here. Book of Jeremiah 28 verse 8, the prophets that had been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence. So this is the ancient prophets who always came through to give that warning for those that would take heed of the imminent danger and destruction that was going to happen in forms of war, pestilence, and troubles and evil. And so evil times is drawing nigh, and it's been prophesied of many times throughout the scriptures that the times are coming into our evil. And so if this is the time of Jacob's trouble, you're going to hear more and more about evil things to come. But the scriptures say that though they say peace and safety, sudden destruction shall come. So we know that the Lord also said himself, I come to send a sword, not peace. So judgment is going to take place on the earth, and you're going to have a lot of famine breaking out. You're going to have a lot of unalivings happen. All right. Scriptures go into it heavy about how severe these times will be, where men shall bewail themselves like a woman in travail. Men will be crying as if they're pregnant and giving birth, right? Screaming, howling, in the judgments, in that fire, and the tempest to come. So, furthermore, this transparency issue, the reason why we're able to really go out there and teach and still make a living, all right, outside of this truth, let's say, is because we have privacy. A lot of you don't know what we do for a living, and we keep it that way on purpose. Don't let your right hand know what your left hand is doing. We utilize privacy to be almost in Clark Kent mode at work, where they don't know what we do. They don't know that the Lord has anointed us with the Spirit and the eyes off in order to see what's coming down the pike and be able to warn like good watchmen and servants, warn his flock and feed his sheep. And if they knew some of the things that we would do, they'd probably disclose that information to our bosses. Furthermore, you know how it goes. We lose our jobs, we lose our livelihoods. We won't be able to come out and teach anymore. So full transparency isn't any advantage to us at all. It's, as Klaus Schwab said, if you have nothing to hide, what are you afraid of? Well, we already understand what's in need of hiding. It's in need of hiding what we do, and that we believe in this word, because we're not ignorant to Satan's devices. He seeks to sift us out of this truth, and one of the ways he could do that is by blackmailing and by doxing, putting all your public information out there so that everybody around you can quickly turn on you, your boss, your job, your livelihood, and that can try to take control on you. But really, the prophets of the Lord, we set up to believe and have faith through whatever turmoil and situation the Lord is bringing, ultimately understanding that he's going to save us out of any type of trouble that he brings our way. So Jacob's trouble also involves the complete transparency of who we are in these last days. Now In Amos 8 and 11, it tells you, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from north to even to east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord, and shall not find it. And that day shall fair virgins, and young men faint for thirst. So, thirsting for the Lord's word, it says in the NLT. And why are they thirsting? Because the prophets aren't there anymore. The watchmen aren't there. The teachers, the scribes, and all of the brothers who make up the body teaching the words of the Lord won't be able to be found anymore. Whether there's going to be a shutting down of the internet, whether they're just going to, put us in jail, which Revelation 2nd chapter verse 10 goes into that, or just completely mandate that street preaching is now illegal. All right, but regardless of how it actually happens, it will happen. There will be a famine of hearing the words of the Lord, and then people will be searching for it in the stock, so to speak, of the price on the stock of this truth is going to go all the way up, because it's not going to be easy and readily available. People always forget what they have when they can't get it anymore. Revelations 11 and 11 says, and after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from Yahweh entered into them. Remember reading about in Ezekiel 37 chapter, I believe, where it goes into how the valley of dry bones is the nation of Israel. And when the Lord puts a spirit of prophecy in them, they wake, they rise, and they become whole again. So were those spirits that the Lord has put and entered into us after 3.5 days, a certain period of time, 350 years, which we didn't have this truth. We were walking naked, so to speak, dry, all right, bewildered, confused, bamboozled, tricked, schemed, all of these things, because we didn't have our power, we didn't have our knowledge. The Lord took our stay and our staff away. So giving it back to us, the scriptures tells you, and after 3.5 days, the spirit of life, after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from Yahweh entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. So there's a fear, all right? It says terror struck all who were staring at them in the NLT. So there's a fear coming from the other side, right? Because this wisdom is coming back to this nation who have been degraded, who have been destroyed purposely, who have been inflicted. And when now these curses are leaving us, where do you think these curses are going to go? Deuteronomy tells you that the curses shall not persecute our enemies. So even they're scared now, because all of the curses from Deuteronomy 28 are going to start afflicting our enemies. That's how real it is for them. So again, going back to Revelation 13, we understand that we're under a beast system, and the beast now is trying to use transparency as a way to get you prepared and ready for complete control that the government's going to have over your lives, in a way in which they're going to produce this mark, which they're going to mandate for people to take. Verse 13 and 16, chapter 13 and 16 says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, that no man might buy or sell, save that he had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Right? And that mark goes all the way into 666, verse 18. 600, 6, Chi stigma. All right? Stigma means to mark, or to cut. Stigmata. Also the charagma, the word for mark in the Greek, which means, goes back to the word palisade or stake, something that you get stuck in, an incision, or to cut. So we understand that this information, or your ID, is going to be all on this scannable device that sits beneath your skin. And the way they're going to do it is introduce you to the idea that you have nothing to hide. So everything is on one database, one mainframe. There's no more stealing of information. There's no more need to worry if your credit card gets stolen, your wallet falls down the drain. There's no more need for that or worry. Now you have one system where everything is vulnerable, everything is open. Your money can't get spent by anybody other than you if you have the mark, correct? And you're going to need it for furthermore because anyone and everyone is going to be mandated to get it. So you can see now what this elite plan and propaganda of transparency, what do you have to hide, is coming to you. It's coming to. It's all coming to their fruition of their top plan, which is to track and dominate and erode privacy completely. The end of privacy. Our government wants to control and track people in this 21st century. All right, so Abba Rad this video is edifying. I'm gonna leave it at that. Till next time, Shalom.